commissioning of the Brp Antonio Luna and their sister ship Brp Rizal marks the advent of our future fleet towards having a modernized and multi-capable Philippine Navy, one that is ready to respond to the increasing and emerging threats in our vast archipelagic nation. Tulad ni General Antonio Luna, naway maging simbolo ang barkong ito ng kagitingan. Kagitingan ang nagsalba sa ating bansa mula sa dayuhang mananakop. Ito rin ang kailangan natin para mapanatili ang tunay na kalayaan at kasalinlan at makamit ang ating hinahangad na kapayapaan at kaunlaran.
May General Antonio Luna's bravery and patriotism inspire the officers and crew of this new ship as you prepare for your future sail. Mabuhay ang hukbong dagat ng Pilipino.
Department of National Defense aboard. Department of National Defense aboard. Ladies and gentlemen, announcing the arrival of our presiding officer, Secretary Delphine N. Lorenzana, Department of National Defense.
Ladies and gentlemen, a good Navy morning to everyone. Welcome to the christening ceremony of Barko ng Republika ng Pilipinas, Antonio Luna, FF 151.
Please remain.
Ladies and gentlemen, a good Navy morning to everyone. Welcome to
the prayer of the sea. O God, you pilot your church through the stormy seas of this world. Prosper the voyages of this vessel, of this ship, and go down to the sea. Contact those who sail in this sea. May help you as they escape so that they may be blessed with control things and someday reach the safe and joyous harbor of eternity. Ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please focus your attention to the bridge wing as we officially unveil the ship's name. Barko ng Republika ng Pilipinas, Antonio Luna, FF 151.
We shall now present the video message of the head of Naval and Special Ship Business Unit, Chief Operating Officer and Senior Executive Vice President, Hyundai Heavy Industries, Mr. Sang Hoon Nam.
존경하는 두테르테 대통령님, 오늘 본함을 명명해 주실 로렌자나 국방장관님, 박고도 해군사령관님, 코로나 상황에서도 귀한 시간을 할애하시어 금일 취역식에 참석해 주신 내빈 여러분, 먼저 필리핀 국방, 현대화 사업의 일환으로 당사에 발주해 주신 안토니오 루나함의 영광스러운 취역식 행사에 현대중공업을 대표하여 축하의 메시지를 전하게 된 것을 매우 기쁘게 생각합니다. 한편으로 코로나 상황으로 인해 직접 행사에 참석하여 축하해드리지 못하는 안타까운 마음도 큽니다. 오늘 취역하는 안토니오 루나함은 작년 7월에 취역한 호세 리젤함의 후속함으로써 약 2년 5개월의 건조기간 동안 모든 관계자 여러분들의 노력과 정성으로 완공된 2600톤급 최신의 호위함입니다. 특히 태풍과 열대성 기후 등 필리핀의 거친 해상 조건에서도 우수한 작전 성능과 생존성을 갖도록 설계되었고 최대 4,500해리 이상의 긴 항속거리를 보유해 장기간 원해 경비 임무 수행이 가능합니다. 또한 76mm 함포와 함대공 미사일, 어뢰, 헬리콥터 등 다양한 무기체계를 탐지해 대공 및 대잠 작전에도 투입 가능한 다목적 전투함입니다. 이 자리를 빌어 본함의 성공적인 건조와 인도를 위해 수고해 주신 모든 관계자 여러분들께 진심으로 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 특히 로렌자나 국방장관님의 아낌없는 지지와 성원에 대해 현대중공업 전 임직원을 대표하여 각별한 감사를 드립니다. 장관님의 탁월한 리더십이 아니었다면 오늘의 이런 영광스러운 자리도 없었을 것이라 생각합니다. 호세 리젤함은 지난해 취역 직후 미국 하와이에서 실시한 림팩 연합훈련을 성공적으로 완수함으로써 본함의 우수한 성능을 널리 알렸을 뿐만 아니라 필리핀 해군의 위상도 전 세계에 확인시켜 주었습니다. 또한 오늘 취역하게 될 안토니오 루나함 역시 호세 리젤함과 함께 필리핀의 해상 국방력 강화에 든든한 주춧돌 역할을 할 것이라 믿어 의심치 않습니다. 끝으로 본함의 성공적인 건조를 위해 아낌없는 지원과 협조를 해주신 필리핀 국방부, 방사청 및 까를로스 소장이 이끄는 인수평가단 여러분과 선주 감독, 로이드 선급 검사관 여러분들께도 이 자리를 빌어 진심으로 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 아무쪼록 본함이 퇴역하는 영광스러운 그날까지 모든 승조원 여러분이 안전하게 임무를 수행할 수 있도록 신의 은총과 가호가 함께하기를 진심으로 기원합니다. 감사합니다.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to one of the highlights of this morning's activity, the commissioning ceremony of Barko ng Republika ng Pilipinas Antonio Luna, FF151.
The commanding officer of BRP Antonio Luna will now render his readiness report to the acting flag officer in command.
Ginoo, sa mga pinuno at tauhan ng BRP Antonio Luna, FF151, narito pong lahat at napagalaman.
The acting flag officer in command faces about and present to officers and crew to the Secretary of National Defense.
Thank you, sir.
The Naval Adjutant, Captain Ariel S. Palisok, Philippine Navy General Staff Corps, will now read the commissioning and assignment orders.
Punong Himpilan, Hukbong Dagat ng Pilipinas, Headquarters Philippine Navy, Naval Station Jose Andrada, 2335 Rojas Boulevard, Manila. Commissioning of Vessel. Pursuant to General Orders Number 247, Headquarters Philippine Navy, dated 12 March 2021. Barko ng Republika ng Pilipinas, Antonio Luna, FF 151, is hereby commissioned into the service of the Philippine Navy effective 19 March 2021 by command of Vice Admiral Bagordo, Official Nicholas A. Dries, Rear Admiral, Philippine Navy, Chief of Naval Staff. Signed, Ariel S. Paliso, Captain, Philippine Navy General Staff Corps, the Naval Adjutant.
The acting flag officer in command will now request from the Secretary of National Defense to formally commission the ship.
The Secretary of National Defense will acknowledge and orders the acting flag officer in command to commission the ship.
The acting flag officer in command will now issue the orders to the commanding officer to commission the ship. The commanding officer subsequently relays the order to the officer of the deck.
Takda ang pagkomisyon.
The day a ship actually joins the Philippine Navy is her commissioning. The national ensign, jack flag, and commission pennant will be hoisted for the first time. Simultaneously, the ship will be dressed and will hoist her flags and pennants. This signifies the commemoration of this glorious occasion. The commissioning of the vessel into the service.
Pinuno. Rap sa likod. Rap.
The attention call has just been sounded. May we request everyone to please rise and sing with pride the Philippine National Anthem.
Kalupunan. Rap sa likod. Rap. Pugay kamay. Na! Kamay. Na. Baba kamay. Na! Kalupunan. Rap sa likod. Rap.
Thank you. You may now be seated.
Mga pinuno. Rap sa likod. Rap.
The commanding officer of Brp Antonio Luna, FF 151, Captain Charles Merrick A. Villanueva, Philippine Navy General Staff Corps, will now read and sign his assumption of command.
Philippine Navy, Philippine Fleet, Headquarters Offshore Combat Force, Naval Base, Heraclio, Alano, Sangli Point, Cavite City. 19 March 2021, Assumption. Pursuant to Paragraph 1, Special Orders Number 39, Headquarters Offshore Combat Force, dated 18 March 2021, I hereby assume duties and responsibilities as Commanding Officer, Barko ng Republika ng Pilipinas, Antonio Luna, FF 151, effective 19 March 2021, and I sign in your presence. Thank you.
The commanding officer will now render to the acting flag officer in command that the ship is commissioned.
Ginoo, ang barko ng Republika ng Pilipinas, Antonio Luna, FF 151 ay ganap nang nakomisyon.
The acting flag officer in command will now render the same to the Secretary of National Defense. Everyone may now be seated.
We will now witness the setting of the watch. The commanding officer will give orders to set the ship's watch.
Italaga ang pagtatanod.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have just witnessed the setting of the first watch. The ship is now ready for operations. Let us give a warm round of applause to our newly commissioned Philippine Navy vessel.
May we request Secretary Delphine N. Lorenzana, Department of National Defense, to deliver his remarks and subsequently introduce our guests of honor and speaker.
Ambassador Kim In-chul of Korea, Mr. Yang A. Lim, Director Korean Culture Center, Lieutenant Colonel Bae Yong-hun, the Defense Attaché, Ms. Sandra Han, the Local Manager of Hyundai, Lieutenant General Cirilito Sobihana, the Chief of Staff, Rear Admiral Adiluis Bordado, the Vice Commander of the Navy and the Acting FOIC, Commodore Joe Anthony Orby, the Commander of Offshore Combat Patrol, Combat Force, Rear Admiral Romer Bernabe, the Philippine Fleet Commander. Lieutenant General Jose Faustino, the Philippine Army Commander. Police Lieutenant General Guillermo Lorenzo Eliazar, the Acting Chief PNP, Major General Foranti Amano, the Vice Commander of Philippine Air Force, the descendants of General Antonio Luna, Mr. Constancio Ongpin, Mr. Augustus Paulo Ongpin, Miss Rene Cristina Ongpin Cuartero, Miss Rosana Faye Ongpin, Mr. Miguel Carlos Ongpin, my wife Edith Lorenzana, other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. When I was a captain, I applied for a scholarship in one of the universities in the country. I think it was AIM. And it was the Philippine Military Academy who selected the candidates. And so I applied, and they asked me to talk about something connected with the armed forces. And the topic I chose was how to modernize the Philippine Navy. Now, why would the Army captain be thinking about the Philippine Navy? It doesn't take a genius to see that this country needs a strong Philippine Navy. You know, we are an archipelago, and we need the Navy as very much then and now. So it gives me great pleasure to be here today, officiating in the commissioning of ships that is modernizing our Navy. There was a time in 2016 when I thought this project will never materialize. Maraming problema. Immediately upon assuming the Secretary of National Defense, I got this call from the agent of the losing company to request that I will reconsider and go back and rebid. Sabi ko, hindi na pwede, tapos na. Then 1 month before I signed the contract, he called me again. He said, if you sign the contract, Mr. Secretary, I will bring you to court. I told him, you go ahead, bring me to court because I'm going to sign the contract. And so, meron pang mga problema. Yung CMS, lumitaw din yung CMS after in 2017. But I'm glad that we handled all those problems, and now we are here looking at the fulfillment of the dream of not only the Navy, but of also the entire country. Almost 17 months ago, since it was launched in Ulsan, South Korea, the Brp Antonio Luna has arrived home and is now officially a part of the fleet of the Philippine Navy as FF-151. I share in the joy of the AFP leadership and our gallant sailors and Marines of the Philippine Navy on this milestone, knowing that having a fleet of frigates has always been their dream as much as the Filipino people. Like the legacy of the great hero this ship was named after, who was a highly admired as the first commanding general of the Philippine Revolutionary Army, much is expected from the Brp Antonio Luna crew. With its state-of-the-art features for anti-surface warfare, anti-air warfare, anti-submarine warfare, and electronic warfare operations, it is considered as one of the Philippine Navy's powerful assets. Of course, kasama na yung BRP Jose Rizal. The commissioning of the BRP Antonio Luna and her sister ship BRP Jose Rizal marks the advent of our future fleet towards having a modernized and multi-capable Philippine Navy, one that is ready to respond to the increasing and emerging threats in our vast archipelagic nation. The upcoming acquisitions for the Philippine Navy will compose the ideal force mix to allow the organization to innovate, strengthen, and become at par with our neighbors. As we start to write the first entries on the deck log of FF 151, a lot is expected from her crew. You must therefore continue to equip yourselves with the necessary technical knowledge, skills, and attitude to effectively perform your tasks. Always be mission ready because your ship embodies our resolve in the international arena, being in the forefront of the country's effort to protect and preserve our maritime interests. Go forth and make peace, partnership, and cooperation across the region. As we turn to the next page of our modernization program, we bear witness to the government's resolve to build a modernized armed forces, one that is ready to protect the people and the state, secure our sovereignty and the integrity of our national territory. And so, on behalf of a grateful nation, allow me to thank our President and Commander-in-Chief, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, for his continuing support to the AFP modernization. Allow me also to convey our thanks to our shipbuilder, the Hyundai Heavy Industries, and to the South Korean government, who have been our reliable partners in defense and security operations. I thank and congratulate as well the leaders and all the sailors and Marines of the Philippine Navy who have toiled day and night in order to make this acquisition a reality. May this latest addition in your fleet inspire you to do your job better. Tulad ni General Antonio Luna, naway maging simbolo ang barkong ito ng kagitingan. Kagitingan ang nagsalba sa ating bansa mula sa dayuhang mananakop. Ito rin ang kailangan natin para mapanatili ang tunay na kalayaan at kasarinlan at makamit ang ating hinahangad na kapayapaan at kaunlaran. Maraming salamat. Mabuhay ang hukbong dagat ng Pilipinas. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Maraming salamat. At ngayon naman ay hayaan ninyo akong ipakilala ang ating panauhing pandangal. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of the Philippines and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
My warmest greetings to the Philippine Navy as it spearheads the commissioning of Brp Antonio Luna. Today, we reaffirm the strong commitment of the transformation, modernization, innovation, and pursuit of high standards in our naval service. May General Antonio Luna's bravery and patriotism inspire the officers and crew of this new ship as you prepare for your future sails. Let me assure you, we'll welcome more promising milestone modernization program with the fervent hope for greater national peace and progress. Mabuhay ang hukbong dagat ng Pilipino.
May we request the Secretary of National Defense, together with his wife, Mrs. Editha Lorenzana, to proceed at the bow of the ship for the breaking of the bottle of local wine. They will be accompanied by the Chief of Staff Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Acting Flag Officer in Command, the Commander Philippine Fleet, the Commander Offshore Combat Force, the Commanding Officer of Brp Antonio Luna, and the descendants of General Antonio Luna, Mr. Constancio Ongpin, Mr. Augustus Paulo Ongpin, Ms. Rosana Faye Ongpin, and Mr. Miguel Carlos Ongpin. Likewise, other guests may witness the ceremony through the live feed in the big screen.
As a naval tradition, the breaking of a bottle of wine in the ship's bow signifies the hope for good fortune and victory on the ship's future missions and voyages. General Antonio Luna is famous for his 8-year defense, known as the Luna Defense Line. This was used during his campaign against the American troops in the northern provinces of the country. It is therefore fitting that the local wine to be used is Basi, which is a fermented wine made from sugar canes in the Ilocos region of northern Luzon.
Ladies and gentlemen, that ends our ceremony. In behalf of the Philippine Navy, we thank you for being with us today.
Maraming salamat po at mabuhay tayong lahat.